ladies and gentlemen, was a magnificent show of statesmanship on their part, and we sincerely thank them for that. It shows the importance of uniting as a people and healing the emotional wounds brought about by this very emotionally charged election. The joint consensusly examined the certificates of canvass, both the manually transmitted and the printed copy of the electronically transmitted COCs, and painstakingly determined their authenticity and due execution, as required by law and by our rules. The canvassing went on smoothly, except for some instances when the manually prepared certificates of canvass were not found in the ballot boxes submitted to us or submitted to the Senate President by several provincial election supervisors and city election officers. Thus, under our rules, we summoned the concerned provincial election supervisors and city election officers to explain the non-inclusion of the COCs in their submission to the Senate President and asked them to locate the COCs and bring them henceforth to Congress. I have in many times in public expressed my frustration for such failure during the proceedings of the Joint Committee. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, this juncture, I would like to urge the Commission on Elections glaring mistakes not happen again, hopefully in 2028. For the record, the Joint Committee did not want to sacrifice the accuracy and the count, nor disenfranchise any problems from this historic process. That is why we even waited for the result of in several absentee voting areas to complete the canvass of votes. Another factor which truly helped make the canvassing of votes so efficient, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, was the masterful handling of my co-chair, the Honorable House Majority Leader Martin Romualdez.
Huwag ka magloko, video ha. Huwag ka lang magloko.
I would like to
Magluloko na
say
naman yung video
this,
ko.
ladies and gentlemen. He never left this post throughout the proceedings.
Yeah.
Not even for lunch, not even for dinner, not even a bathroom break. He truly leads Congress by example, and I salute you, sir.
Ang malabo.
I would like to also take this opportunity to thank the hardworking members of this joint committee, my colleagues from the Senate, Senator Nancy Binay, Senator Franklin M. Dillon,
Nasa biyahe kasi ako,
Senator
mga
Amy
besh.
Marcos, Senator Ralph Recto, Senator Grace Poe, Senator Pia Cayetano, and our alternate members, Senator Lito Lapid, Senator Risa Ontiveros, Senator Coco Pimentel, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, and our colleagues as well from the House of Representatives, Congressman Jesus Crispin Remulla, Representative Abraham Tolentino, Representative Christine Singson Nihan, Representative Sharon Garin, Representative Manuel Manix Dalipe.
So ngayon, naka-live ako habang nasa biyahe. Naka-live po ako, subaybay ng ating presidente. Yung taba-taba ako sa camera, grabe.
And Representative Stella Kimbo.
Mataba na talaga ako. Congratulations sa ating bagong presidente ng Pilipinas, BBM.
The canvas of votes for presidential and vice presidential candidates in this historic May 9, 2022.
Hi Jessica! Kumusta ang baby mo? Hi Joyce Kasi! Hello!
Canvas a total of 171 COCs from provinces, highly urbanized cities, local absentee voting, overseas absentee voting, and
So nanonood tayo kasi subaybay lang.
The results, Your Honor, of the canvas shows that Bongbong Romualdez Marcos Jr. obtained the highest number of votes for the position of president, garnering a total of
Panalo tayo, Beshi! Hello, Maria! Hello, Beshi, Maria! Shoutout sa mga taga-Tarlac!
16,594,010 votes over the second placer. On the other hand, Madam Inday Sara Zimmerman Duterte obtained the highest
I miss
number of
you
votes
too,
for Vice
Beshi.
President with 32,208,417 votes.
Grabe ang lamang.
Of 22,879,210 votes over her closest opponent. Allow me to add, Mr. President,
Thank you, Beshi.
matagal-tagal na rin po ako sa politika.
Hello sa inyo dyan sa
Maraming
Tarlac.
eleksyon na rin
Ingat
po ang
lagi.
aking napagdaanan. Both local and national elections. At ngayon lang po ako nakakita nitong dalawang kandidato kapag nagmo-motorcade ay kilo-kilometro po ang taong nag-aabang. Sa kaidwikan ng araw, kainitan ng araw at hindi alintana ang init. May mga rallies din po kami na kasaganan.
Ay, Beshi, may talusano. Ay, inaanak. Yan. Ingat kayo dyan. Ang kahit kasi ng camera ko kasi nababagsak ito eh.
Ay kasama pa rin po natin ang
Nababagsak kaya yung pinaka-camera niya nagaganon-ganon.
may mga kaugnayan po tayo na pamilya ang nag-aabang.
Kumusta, buntis?
At dala pang sariling baon para sa kanilang tanghalian. Ang mga galing sa kanayunan, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, talagang nakakamangha at ngayon ko pulang nasaksihan na ganyan na pagtanggap sa ating mga kababayan sa ating dalawang kandidato. In this election, truly, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, President-elect Bongbong Marcos and Vice President-elect Sara Duterte were truly rock stars. However, the greater task of the victors today is to unite our countrymen for nation building.
Si Bungo
That
Rebilla
begins
pala yun.
today. The
Oo,
way
si
this
Bungo.
weighs heavy on their shoulders. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, Ecclesiastes 3 says, there is a time for everything. For everything, there is a reason. And a time
Uy, mismo
for
ako
every matter
magmukbang.
under heaven.
Anak, ang taba na nga
Today,
nilang
let
mo.
me urge our
Magmumukbang
kababayan.
pa ulit.
Sa ating mga kababayan na nakikinig po
Super
na
taba ako na ngayon.
that it is a
Grabe.
time to heal from this divisive campaign. It is a time to respect the will of the majority of our electorate. And most importantly, it is a time to unite for the welfare and progress of our people and rally behind our flag and our country. Mr. President, an overwhelming victory of our President-elect Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. and Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, I am convinced that the Filipino electorate heeded the clarion call to unite for progress and to get out of the suffering caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a resounding affirmation of the Filipinos' desire to move forward and jumpstart our economy. And finally, today is a triumph of our democracy. Mabuhay ang ating demokrasya.
Yes,
Maraming
mabuhay! Yes!
Mr. Speaker, may I be recognized to sponsor the report of the Joint Committee.
The Majority Leader and Chairperson of the House Panel of the Joint Committees is recognized to deliver the sponsorship speech.
Mr. Senate President, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, guests, ladies and gentlemen, the joint public session of Congress to canvass the
Ayan o,
votes
pag ano,
for the duly elected President
Nagkakaroon
and
siya
Vice
ng
President
ano,
in the elections of May 9, 2022
parang
is
ano,
honored and privileged to submit its report to the honorable members of the Senate and the House of Representatives in joint
sira na
public
talaga
session.
yung ano.
Pursuant to the constitutional mandate of Congress and the instruction of the joint session of Congress, the Joint Committee convened on May 24, 2022 to canvass and tally the votes for the President and the Vice President. After just a day of canvassing,
Ang
the
hirap
task had been completed and we were set to proclaim the duly elected
Ang hirap,
President
Beshi,
and
ah.
Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Ang hirap eh.
The
Ito
proceedings
malinaw
of
yung
the 2022
ano.
joint public session has been the fastest
Nakapanginaan kasi palitan
canvassing
eh.
of the presidential and vice president elections results in the country since it adopted the automated election system. Foremost, due recognition must be given to the members of the Joint Committee who work round the clock to canvass the votes in order to proclaim the winners in the soonest possible time without sacrificing accuracy and fairness. The Senate panel headed by the Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Mix F. Zubiri, Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay, Senator Franklin M. Drilon, Senator Amy R. Marcos, Senator
Ayaw
Grace
pa yung mga
L. Poe,
nakaposisyon, no?
Senator Ralph G. Recto, Senator Pia S. Cayetano as members, and Senator Manuel Lito M. Lapid, Senator Risa Ontiveros, Senator Aquilino Coco III, Senator Ronaldo Bato de la Rosa as alternate members. Likewise, we also take note of the diligence of the members of the House panel. Representative Jesus Crispin C. Remulla, Representative Abraham Bambol N. Tolentino, Representative Christine Singson Mihan, Representative Sharon S. Garin, Representative Manuel Jose Manix Dalipe, Representative Juliet Marie de Leon Ferrer as members, and Representatives Juan Pablo Rimpi P. Bondoc, Representative Johnny T. Pimentel, Representative Alfredo Jr. A. Garbin, and Representative Stella Luz A. Kibo as alternate members. Credit must also be given to the officers and staff of the Commission on Elections who were able to immediately respond to the directives of the Joint Committee to explain the missing physically delivered COCs. The concerned Provincial Board of Canvassers, through their provincial election supervisors, were able to explain before the Joint Committee through virtual communication the whereabouts of the COCs. The chairpersons proceeded with the canvassing of the electronically transmitted COCs and required provincial election supervisors to submit the actual original copies of the COCs. We also commend the members of the Secretariat and the Joint Committee, both from the Senate and the House of Representatives, for their support and assistance, and the members of the media who were with us throughout the proceedings. We also express our gratitude and appreciation to the councils of the candidates who have manifested their graciousness of their respective candidates in recognizing the integrity of this election. Indeed, the healing of the country has begun, and we urge everyone to unite as a nation. Finally, credit is due to the more than 55 million Filipinos out of more than 66 million registered voters who, amidst the threat of the COVID-19, braved the long queues to exercise their right of suffrage, resulting in a record-breaking 83.11% voter turnout. Indeed, our democracy is live and vibrant. Ever-growing political interest shown by our electorate is symbolic of the people's clamor for change, prosperity, and progress. The Joint Committee canvassed a total of 171 COCs. 132 COCs were electronically transmitted to the consolidated canvassing system by the Board of Canvassers of the provinces, cities, and overseas absentee voting countries. 39 COCs were physically delivered to the Senate of the Philippines from the Special Board of Canvassers for overseas absentee voting, local absentee voting, and detainee voting. With all the 171 COCs tallied, Senator Ferdinand Bongbong Romualdez Marcos Jr. and Davao City Mayor Sara Zimmerman Duterte obtained the highest number of votes among the candidates for President and Vice President, respectively. Senate Marcos Jr. received 31,629,783 votes, or a lead of more than 16,593,010 votes over his nearest rival. Vice President Maria Leonor Robredo. For the Vice Presidency, Mayor Sara Duterte received 32,208,417 votes and had a margin of over 22,879,210 votes over her closest rival, Senator Francis Nepomuceno Pangilinan. The 2022 electoral campaign
Landslide.
period has been polarizing. With the
Grabe.
country reeling from the impact of
Landslide,
the pandemic and
landslide.
other major calamities and disasters, it was evident that the nation was divided as to what direction to take in order to move forward. But the majority has spoken.
Hindi
It
ko
is high
ma-shoot
time
yung
that
ano.
we listen to their voice and uphold the outcome of our democratic process.
Bakit yung video?
Let's heal the wounds of the
Tabaching-ching na
political
talaga.
division, brace ourselves for the challenges ahead, and move forward as a strong and united. Let us be prepared to work harder for the nation and give our full support to the new leadership.
BBM.
At the end of the day, we are all Filipinos, and we want nothing than to see our beloved nation chart its own course and ultimately triumph. On this note, I urge the members of the Senate and the House of Representatives in this joint public session to approve the report of the Joint Committee embodying the resolution of both houses proclaiming Honorable Ferdinand Bongbong Romualdez Marcos Jr. as President and Honorable Sara Zimmerman as Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Yay!
Maraming salamat. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas at ang buong sambayan ng Pilipino.
Mabuhay ang Pilipinas!
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, out of my excitement of my speech, I forgot to make the same motion. On the part of the Senate panel, Mr. President, we respectfully recommend to Congress, as the National Board of Canvassers, in joint public session, approving the report of the Joint Committee and Resolution of both Houses, number 1, declaring the results of the national elections held on May 9, 2022 for the office of the President and Vice President, and proclaiming Ferdinand Bongbong Romualdez Marcos and Inday Sara Zimmerman Duterte as the duly elected President and Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. I so move, Mr. President.
Majority Leader, we would like to
Yes.
say for the adoption of the resolution.
Yes. Mr. President, we're now ready to proceed for the adoption of the report and the accompanying resolution. On the part of the Senate, I move for the approval of the report of the Joint Committee and the adoption of the accompanying resolutions of both houses. Number 1.
Distinguished members of the Senate, there is a motion by the Majority Leader to approve the report of the Joint Committee and to adopt the accompanying resolution of both houses. Number 1. As many as are in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
As many as are against, please say nay. The ayes have it. On the part of the Senate, the report of the Joint Committee is approved and the resolution of both houses of number 1 is adopted.
The Majority Leader of the House of Representatives is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, we now proceed to vote for the adoption of the report and the accompanying resolution. On the part of the House of Representatives, I move for the approval of the report of the Joint Committee and the adoption of the accompanying resolution of both houses.
On the part of the House of Representatives, the report of the Joint Committee is approved and the resolution of both houses number 1 is adopted.
Yeah! Hindi nakikisama tong camera ko, nakakaiyak.
And the duly elected Vice
Wala
President
pa
of
yung
the Republic
signal.
of the
Ba yan?
Philippines.
Sama ka.
Ito sinablank. It was black, Mr. President. I wanted to make sure that one was not. It was black, Mr. President. I wanted to make sure that one was not ahead of the other. So I was worried about that black.
I have it.
Thank you, Mr.
Is
President.
there any objection? The chair hears none. On the part of the Senate, I proclaim Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. as the duly elected president
Yes!
and Sara Zimmerman Duterte as the duly elected vice president of the Republic of the Philippines.
Yeah! Ah, nakakaiyak! Woo!
Majority Leader of the
Nakakaiyak!
House of Representatives is recognized.
Mr. Speaker,
Congratulations
on the
po!
part of the House of Representatives and pursuant to the adopted resolution of both houses, number one, I have the honor to move for the proclamation of Ferdinand Bongbong Romualdez Marcos as the duly elected President of the Republic of the Philippines and Sara Zimmerman Duterte as the duly elected Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Woo! Yes!
Is there any
Woo!
objection?
Hindi nakikisama yung camera ko!
Representatives, I proclaim Ferdinand Bongbong Romualdez Marcos Jr.
Yes!
duly elected President of the Republic of the Philippines and Sara Zimmerman Duterte Carpio as the duly elected Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines.
We shall now proceed to the approval of the journal of the joint public session, and for this purpose, the Senate Majority Leader is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. On the part of the Senate, I move that the Honorable Senate President be authorized to approve the journal of the joint public session and that such approval action of the Senate.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The motion is approved.
The Majority Leader is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, on the part of the House of Representatives, I move that the Honorable Speaker be authorized to approve the Journal of the Joint Public Session, and such approval be considered as the action of the House of Representatives.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved.
The Senate Secretary is now directed to turn over the consolidation and canvassing system, the machine, and return all the ballot boxes, as well as all the pouches containing the certificates of canvass and election returns to the Commission on Elections. So directed.
President, on the part of the Senate, I move that we designate the members of the Senate panel for the Joint Committee as members of the Notification Committee.
If there is no objection, the chair appoints the members or designates the members of the Senate panel of the Joint Committee as designated members of the Notification Committee.
Mr. Speaker, on the part of the House of Representatives, I move to designate the members of the House panel of the Joint Committee as members
Pangulo
of
and
the
Vice
Notification
President.
Committee.
Is there any
Congrats
objection?
po sa inyong dalawa.
Chair hears none.
Naiyak
The
ako.
motion is approved. The members of the House panel of the
Charot.
Joint Committee are designated as
Alam.
members of the Notification Committee.
Mr. President,
Yes, go ahead, Majority Leader.
on the part of the Senate, I move to